This is Rae Fancher, the author of Finding Your Creative Bones, a 365-day Bible-based devotional located on my website at cindyrayfancher.com. I hope you'll take a look at it and enjoy some of the devotions that can perhaps add something to your life. I hope they do. Today we're going to be looking at the third word of the day, and the word is action. I'm going to use mixed media on a small 2x2 piece of watercolor paper that I'm going to just simply put some marks on it and then add the word. So let's get started. I think the first thing I'll do is I'll take this little ink pad and I'll just rub it along the edge. Just to put a little color on the edge. And obviously my pad is a little bit old because you can see it's falling apart while I use it, which is funny. We're gonna make it work anyway. What I am gonna do is go ahead and move that off and put this down on my paper here so that I can get these loose pieces. Didn't expect that. I used it just a little while ago and didn't see that anything happened with it. One thing about it, as I've mentioned on other days, I do have a bit of supplies that I've collected, and some of them are getting old. And as a result, this is the kind of thing that happens with it. That's why it's a shame if we have art supplies and we don't use them. Because really, what's the point? They are gonna age, things are gonna happen. I know when my home flooded a year and a half ago or so, almost 2 years now, I lost quite a few really nice supplies. And I have a lot of regret in some ways. It's not like I walk around every day going, oh, why did I do that? But I think it's rather wasteful on my part to have had some of these supplies and have barely used them, even though I might have had them for quite some time. So it taught me a lesson, and that's one thing I'm trying to do here is let's get out some supplies, let's work with them and see if we can't at least take advantage of the fact of what I have and just enjoy them a little more perhaps than I did before. So even though the little ink pad's falling apart on me, I'm still gonna enjoy that. And you know what, I'm thinking I would like just a little bit more. I wonder if I could use my water brush to get some of that onto here and then rub it on the paper. Doesn't work too well because it's not a water-based ink, but I can get a little bit. I just want to add a little more to make it a little bit wider all the way around. And definitely, I'll be throwing this little baby away. Because you can see as I'm using it, it's just mashing. But I might get some paper out and use it on it first. To see what I can do. To see what I can salvage from it. You can never have too much paper that you can pull into other mixed media projects for collage purposes or whatever. All right, so now I have an outline, a border with that. Go ahead and clean my water brush. Hopefully we'll start out fresh. Anyway, sorry for that, but I'm not sorry that I found out that I need to use it and get rid of it. But so let's think about this. The word action in my devotion, where I use it on day 3, it's in relationship to Noah, which we'll talk more about Noah as the next few days come along. But Noah, he received a message from God about building the ark. And I can only imagine what he must have thought about the whole idea that it was necessary to build something that was big enough to hold all this 2 of each of the species of animals on the earth and his family. Enough food, enough water, whatever. Maybe they didn't have to do water because they were going to be in a big flood. I don't know. But just an incredible thought as to whether or not you would act on something like that. If you had a dream and God spoke to you in your dream and asked you to build something of this scale or do something in your life that was a humongous action, would you do it? I think we would probably, for the most part, many of us be very skeptical about doing it. I imagine Noah was in his own way, but yet he was a faith-filled man and he believed. So he took the action required in order to achieve God's goal that he gave him. So today, I thought we would focus on the word action and thinking about, are there any things we feel God is asking us to take action on to accomplish for him? I know for me, one of the big things was to create this devotional. It was no little feat to read the Bible from cover to cover in 9 months and every day take the time needed to write a reflection, to include the scripture if there was any that I wanted to reference. Some days have scripture, some days don't. To write a prayer, to come up with a tangle that seemed relevant to what was happening in the Bible that day, either in the New or Old Testament or both, and coming up with a word of the day also. And then if you use the online devotional, you'll see I have references to where you can learn how to create the tangles and everything. It was not a little feat to do this. I would say easily I spent anywhere from 2 to 6 hours a day working on this for 9 months. And then it filled my mind the rest of the days because I learned so much from the Bible and felt the Holy Spirit completely fill my mind and my heart as I was working on it, and to give me direction and words to use. I was no Bible expert. I am no Bible expert. You'll probably hear me stumble on things from time to time. I'm not a theologian. I'm just an ordinary person like you. I'm going to say I was compelled by the Lord. That was his call to action for me. And not everybody's going to get that same type of call, but I do believe he probably calls us each in different ways. So have you thought about what he may have or may be calling you to do? What is the action you feel like you may need to do? I'm going to use a Koh-i-Noor magic pencil. It's one that has orange, red, yellow, all in it. It's 3 colors. And it's just a colored pencil. These are cool. And I'm just going to use it to do my lettering. And so I probably should pencil in the word first, but I'm not going to. So let's just see what happens. And I'm just going to simply letter it to begin with, and then as I've been doing, I will embellish it. It looks almost like school-age writing, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with a simple font, and then I'm going to figure out how I can make it look a little fancier. And you can see the colors kind of change, especially in the A. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to make it much broader. And now you can see some of the oranges coming out. I'm going to do the same on the C. And just work my way through the letters, just making them thicker, make them stand out a little bit more. Oh, I don't know. Now I feel that the Lord is calling me to get my book published on Amazon. I published the first 60 days in 2 different volumes. Volume 1, day 1 through 31, and then the next volume for February. And I did that in a way just to test the market, so to speak, and figure out what I could and couldn't do, how it looks, maybe be able to understand how I should move forward with the whole book. Because when you're talking about 365 days that probably have 2 days at least per day based on the size of the book and everything, it's a daunting process to think about publishing that and making it look right, be compelling to people and everything. So I did those first 2 to try it out. And I really thought maybe I would publish the whole thing in just the 31 day segments. But I have to admit, after I did it, the cost to create that seemed way too high for the consumer. I didn't want to have a book essentially that people would have to pay over $100 to get all 12 volumes. It just didn't feel right to me. And one reason that I have the devotion on my website is because I wanted there to be a free version. And so I felt that this was a gift from God, and there needed to be the ability for people to get to it at no cost if that's what they wanted to do. Now, if somebody wants to buy the book, and I hope they do, then they can buy it, but it's not going to be $100 to do it. It's going to be less than $20 to do it. Now I'm taking a black aquarellable, yeah, there we go. It's a Stabilo. It's a black Stabilo aquarellable pencil that is cool in the sense that when you wet it, the color will spread. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and come across with just a little bit of water. I'm trying to figure out how much I want to do with this. And I don't know how this is going to turn out. Every day you're going to see me experiment. Some days these words are going to look great. Other days we might both go, that was probably not a hit. But I'm not going to worry about it, because the whole thing is I'm trying to do right now 100 creative days, as I told you about the first session. And I'm also just trying to put these words into my life in a deeper way by doing this. By taking this action with these words, I am actually, I think, putting them to work inside of my soul and thinking more about what God may be speaking to me about in relationship to them. I truly believe that through paying attention to these words and spending time with them, my change as a child of Christ and of our Father will continue to happen and perhaps be even accelerated. I want to be, like you do, I'm sure, the best person I can possibly be for God. So doing this is part of that for me. Okay, so now I'm going to come along and I'm going to wet that black, and you can see it's going to smooth out the rough part of it that makes it like a pencil, the scratchy part. And look, it's just turning into almost like an ink pen. And it's spreading, so it's like a watercolor. I love these pencils to use in paintings. I'll use them quite a bit in paintings, for mixed media paintings. They look great. There's several different colors. Here's a red one right here. I don't know that I'll be using it, but they're just great pencils. So with these videos, you get a chance to see some supplies and learn more about God and the Word and these words, and get an opportunity to think about what they might mean to you. So look at what you're getting coming through watching these videos. I hope it's meaningful to you. It's meaningful to me to share this with you. These videos aren't going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely a work in progress. But I'm grateful for this opportunity to spend time with you. I have mixed feelings about whether or not I like that. What I might do is give this a chance to dry, and then maybe come back in with my colored pencil again and brighten my colored pencil just a little bit. Get that O. Okay, because some of it looks a little messy, and maybe I can brighten that up. But it's going to take a minute. So let's think about what I can do to put around this. I'm trying to think of what would be something that indicates action. And I'm thinking something just as simple as some lines that spin out from it. And then I'll wet those too. I'm trying to figure out, do I want to have more of them? That's what's fun about this, is we're just making art as we go. I'm going to come across that wet and just put a little more dark into it. Because it's still damp, it's going to activate the black, but perhaps not as much to turn it so gray. So I'm just kind of reiterating the black. Okay, I think in just a minute I can probably come back with a colored pencil without worrying about it. All right, so we're gonna do this. And you can see they're spreading out, but that's all right. What I might do when it's all said and done is take this white General's pastel pencil and also go over some of this just to add in some of that. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get back in here and maybe brighten this up just a touch. Smooth it if nothing else. This one still has a lot of wet. I don't know that this is really helping, but it is allowing me to basically take the color all the way up to the edge of the black, which is not a bad thing. I have to admit, I think I like it when I use the watercolor pens and the microns and things better. But it looks smeary to me. But like with, oh, and look, I smeared this with my hand. I'm not gonna worry about it. We'll fix. All right, so give that just a minute. Okay, I think up here, yeah. Let's just go along and see what happens if I start running this white. Make it look like we really meant to have that. Actually, I think I like just going right over it. Of course, this one's still real wet. I'm not gonna even touch it. I don't know. Not my favorite. it's okay. Maybe it's the green border that's actually growing me as much as anything. I don't know, there's something about the fact that in one way I'm like, but in another way, the way the letters are, and with these having come off of them, it's like they do look a little bit like they're exploding or that they're on fire. It goes to the action aspect. I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. And after this dries, I will fix it to where it has the white on it too. But let's see, what else can we do here? Let's take our micron and what if we just take and put a real thin black line in the middle of them? Truly mixed media. Now my black is not going to be happy about going over that chalk, so I have to keep cleaning it. It doesn't permanently hurt it, but you just got to take it off. See, I like that better. Just having that little hint of black in it. I'm dabbing the pen point off in case you can't see it on my paper towel so that it's fresh. Actually, I like that quite a bit better. It's not perfect, but I don't know why I keep saying that. Nothing is perfect. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It is what it is, and we made it together, and that's what counts. And that's how I want you to feel about your work, too. And I'll guarantee you tomorrow I'll look at it and I'll like it better than I do this moment. That happens to me all the time. Perhaps you have that happen, too. All right, so I'm going to, we've got those lines coming out for action. I'm trying to think what else, what other kind of doodle thing I could put into it that would make me feel that it is expressing action. What about growth? Something that kind of is related to growth. I'm going to put some fescue in here, just a few. Fescue is a tangle. It's an original Zentangle tangle. Very simple one, but it's one of my favorites because it really does imply growth and, I don't know, harmony or something to me. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I do think at this point I've decided the border is what's bothering me. So, I've got a green zebra pen here. right. Now it's looking more like it's a cartoon or something, and I like that. That goes with the action. So what else can we do? And I see that black is still continuing to spread out. That's funny. Look, I have pens over on the side of my desk. So I'm gonna get this one. This is I've not used it before, so let me see if I can get it started. Okay. It's called Remnants pen. And I'm actually gonna see if I can use it to color in a little bit over that pencil. I have maybe not totally do it, but just a little bit. Just to make it a little more red inside of the letters. And maybe cover over just a little bit of the black smear. This word action is sure getting our action, trying to do whatever we want to do with it to have it speak to us. I'm gonna no. I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna leave that, but I think it looks better colored. I don't know. I don't know which is better. You tell me what you think in the comments. Also, if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, I really appreciate it. Just beginning to try to grow it, and it would be nice to have you as a subscriber. All right, so now I'm going to put a little bit of flux down here. I'm just going to fill it in. It's just, this is one of my favorites. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and start this one. Fill this in. This one just turned into a fun one. Just a little bit of playing around and having fun with our tools and thinking about what can we do with the word action and what is the Lord saying to us in relationship to the word action. I have a feeling he's probably speaking to all of us in one way or another in relationship to it. Anyway, I hope you had fun with this, that you give it a try yourself, and I hope that you spend some time thinking about the word action. I'm going to put my chop on here. And call it done. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye.